Hello and welcome to Highways to Your Future, part of the SUNY Old Westbury School of Business Professional Development Initiative. I'm your host, Art Szymanski. We are joined today by George Maggiore, a marketing consultant, former Global Director of Customer and Marketing Research at National Grid, and a Professor of Marketing and Management at St. John's University. He is also a member of SUNY Old Westbury School of Business Advisory Board. Thank you for joining us today, George.
Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you here. Your expertise is something that our students really need. You've spent a tremendous amount of time as a marketing executive. So from your perspective, what skills do you think employers are looking for at the entry level for marketing students these days?
Well, I wish I could give you a formula. I really do. But there is no formula because the criteria are so different depending on the position and the requirements for the job. However, so the significant variabilities have something generic that I'd like to pull out for you. So first thing is, and this is amazing, that be prepared. Be prepared both emotionally, intellectually, socially, ready for the interview process, so for the process of trying to find yourself a job. And the second thing I would say is that's really important is professionalism, meaning that when you arrive at the with a hiring officer or a person who has a job that you would like to have, your professionalism needs to come through. That means that you need to have look the part. First, look the part. Then I would say the next thing you really need to ooze is something called self-confidence. And so many young people have not been ready to be self-confident. They're ready to do the work, but they really don't have a confidence about it. So another couple of things that an employer might be looking for is, well, do I think you can do the work? Because I have a job that needs to be done. I need to have my this position filled by somebody who I believe is capable of doing the job. So and you need to be able to project that you can do that job. And the fourth thing I'd like to talk about is learning. Can you learn? If I look at you and through your responses, I don't think you can learn. How can I expect you to learn the job and actually perform that work? Okay, so we've got four right off the top of my head. And let me go through three more. Likability. You need to be liked. You need to have the person needs to have a feeling that you're a likable person, that I like you. Because if I don't like you, I'm not going to hire you. Next is this thing called communication. Now, it's a very funny word. You're in the business of communication. I'm in the business of communication as a marketer. But you need to have those skills, the verbal as well as the written skills. And you really need to be able to communicate in traditional manner as well as in a non-traditional manner, meaning you need to be able to do it online, you need to be able to do it in person, you need to do it with letters, with handwritten stuff. You really need to have a sense of how to communicate. And it's not communication with your friends now. You're communicating with the business, and you're communicating with the business's clients possibly. You're communicating with fellow employees. You're communicating with your boss and his or her boss. So you need to have a sense of communication in a business environment. And lastly, which I think is probably one of the most key secondary criteria, is you need to be able to solve problems. Because problem solving is one of the most important things that a business needs to do. Because every day, businesses are solving problems. That's how they make their profit.
George, let me pick up on something you talked about, online communication. In that vein, how do you see the importance of social media skills for our young students? And are there any particular platforms that you think are particularly important in the business world?
All platforms are important. Okay, depending on each business selects. So it's Facebook, YouTube, whatever they select as the way they wish to communicate. Now, in the selection process, they need to have I believe businesses need to have all of their channels available. All right, so now you need to be able to be proficient in them, but not as a consumer, but as a person who is going to put out content for consuming.
And along those lines too, how about LinkedIn? Where do you think our students should have them, and what would you say about that?
They should already have it before they come to freshman orientation.
That was the question. So freshman, sophomore, just get it done quickly.
In high school. I have, as you said, I'm a professor, and I see some of my students walk in from high school with a LinkedIn profile, and they keep updating it and keep making it more and more real at that particular moment. When they start out, their LinkedIn profile is very weak, relatively speaking, but that's okay because they're not expected to be very strong. But as they go through the education process, they need to update that and keep constant with it.
Now, a lot of these LinkedIn postings will eventually lead, potentially, to an internship. Can you spend a couple of minutes just talking about where students might look for internships, how they might go about it, beyond just touching base with somebody like Lorraine Tedesco in the dean's office?
You realize that when people don't realize, or young people don't realize how much of a network they already have. They are networked. They're networked to friends, family, and businesses that they frequent, the pizzeria that they go into, and all of those are opportunities for having a conversation about a potential internship. Now, where I teach, we have paid and for credit internships, and most of the students, and I'm responsible, amazingly this semester I'm responsible for the internship program in the marketing and management department of departments of the university I work in. And these students, I asked them, where did you find this internship? For the most part, I'd say 70%, 80% of them found them on their own. They actually work their own internship into the program. And the remainder, we have a career center. So from the career center, they were able to get an internship. But 70% or more are getting them from their own network, their own contacts. And it's amazing that they're working for companies like L'Oreal and the MTA and Port Authority. So you have these opportunities that come to them by way of family, friends, and businesses that they get in contact with.
George, that was great advice. I really appreciate it. We all appreciate you coming in today and sharing your thoughts with us. I'm sure our students will take away a great deal of important information. Please come back and visit us again. And in the meantime, thank you for watching. Until the next time, take the on-ramp to the highways to your future.